Welcome everyone, and this is the Airpost Creations 2021 channel, and today is Sunday, and I thought of doing something else with the reading, namely doing an astrology reading for a change, referring to the Age of Aquarius. And everyone probably heard about it, but maybe wondered what exactly it is or might mean. So the book I am using for the information for today's reading is displayed here on the table and called The Only Astrology Book You Will Ever Need. And here in this book is explained what the Age of Aquarius is. But before I get there, let us go back a little and find out how the Zodiac Signs got their names. When we are looking at the sun from our vantage point here on Earth, it travels around our Earth once every year, and on its journey the sun travels a narrow path called the ecliptic and passes through the 12 signs of the zodiac. When the foundation stones of the science of astrology were first formally put in place in Babylonian times, the signs of the zodiac, they were named after actual constellations of the stars in the sky. And those early astronomers, they had noticed that the sun journeys through the same constellations every year. During the spring, the path of the sun crosses over the constellation of Aries, and during autumn, the sun crosses over the constellation of Libra. The beginning of the astrological year is a point called the vernal equinox. This is where the sun's path, the so-called ecliptic, crosses the celestial equator, which is the line that divides the heavens into a northern and a southern half. And at that point, day and night are equal in length. The word equinox comes from the Latin meaning equal night, the night equal to the day. There are 2 equinoxes every year, one in spring and one in autumn. So with the spring equinox starts the first astrological sign, which is Aries. And with the autumn equinox starts the 7th sign, which is Libra. Aries and spring equinox marks the first half of the zodiac, while Libra marks the second half and the autumn equinox. When astrology first was formalized, the spring equinox signaled the beginning of the sun's entrance not only into the sign of Aries, but also into the constellation of Aries. And this is important that both were at this time considered identical. But ever since that time brought new insights and astrologers and astronomers were to diverge. And now the signs of the zodiac do no longer correspond to the same constellations in the sky. Today, when astronomers talk about the sign of Taurus, for instance, they refer to the actual group of stars in the heavens which make up the constellation of Taurus. And when astrologers talk about Taurus, they refer to the second astrological sign, which is a 30-degree segment of the zodiac controlling a whole set of characteristics, symbols, and associations. It was in the 2nd century BC that a Greek astronomer called Hipparchus discovered a phenomenon called the precession of the equinoxes. He found out that the Earth is shifting, even though very slowly, in its position as it spins through the solar system. And this slight shift of the Earth is by scientists sometimes referred to as the Earth's wobble, because it somewhat resembles an object one is spinning, with the top starting to wobble during that spinning. So the poles of the Earth act like a spinning toy, and they lean from side to side as the Earth revolves on its axis. Over time, this leaning of the Earth changed the placement of the celestial equator, because this celestial equator is on the same line as is the Earth's equator, and therefore, as the Earth's position is shifting, the line of the celestial equator also shifts. All this then is adding up to the fact that as time passes here on Earth, the vernal equinox, also called spring equinox, is the point that is marking the path of the sun crossing the celestial equator. And when this takes place, it takes place in an entirely different constellation. And why is this so? Well, this is a very slow process, a slow motion, and the Earth's tilt relates to this process and leads to the so-called precession of the equinoxes rather than the procession, because during a time span of many years, the equinoxes slowly travel through all the constellations of the zodiac, and they travel in a backward order. When the Babylonians calculated the zodiac, the spring equinox took place in the constellation of Aries, and then around the time of Christ's birth, which also marks the beginning of our calculation AD, the Earth had shifted enough so that the spring equinox took place in the constellation now of Pisces. And with this same shifting of the Earth, the spring equinox was placed in the constellation of Aquarius, naming it the Age of Aquarius. This beginning of the Age of Aquarius can of course not be determined with 100% accuracy. Different astrologers, they set a different time frame when they calculated the horoscopes. Some astrologers, they mark the beginning of the Age of Aquarius at the end of World War II. So for instance, one astrologer called Cabell McCutcheon, born 1929 and dying 1997, he believed that we entered the new age called Age of Aquarius with the arrival of cable TV and computers, and he said that a time would come where people would walk around with antennas sprouting out of their heads. Others, like the psychologist Carl Jung, said that the Age of Aquarius was the beginning around the 1990s, and that the Irish astrologer Cyril Fagan sets the date as far back as 2023 to 2024. The consensus, however, is that by the year 2000, we are in the Age of Aquarius. So little by little, at the infinitesimal rate of approximately 1 grade every 71 and a half years, the equinoxes, they move through the zodiac, and in a time space of about 2,150 years, the equinoxes, they move through one sign of the zodiac. And then in the time space of approximately 25,820 years, the equinoxes, they move through the entire 12 signs of the zodiac, and this time got a name and is called a great year. This each 2,100 year transit through a sign is called a great month, and this great month refers to an age. And such each age signifies a zodiac sign. So before we did enter the Age of Aquarius, we were in the Age of Pisces. Because the whole process involves vast amounts of time, it is difficult to give an exact year to the beginning of such a new age. For the past 2,000 years or so, mankind has been living in the Age of Pisces, and now we entered the Age of Aquarius. Each age is characterized by the astrological sign of that era. During the existence of the Earth, the planet has gone through thousands of such great years. Scientists estimate our Earth to be as old as 4.6 billion years, which means that it has passed through almost 177,000 great years. But the human ancestors, the creators who first walked upright on 2 legs, they have been on Earth for only 115 great years, or 3 million years. And Neanderthal men walked this earth only 9 great years ago. Astrologers, they trace back mankind's written history only as far back as the age of Leo. So the age of Aquarius, let's say, started around 2000, but the beginning of an age starts with Leo in our counting. So the age of Leo is approximately 10,000 BC to 8,000 BC. This age of Leo is characterized by the energy and creativity of human beings learning how to use their environment. People lived in caves and they learned how to refine stones, refining highly finished and polished stone implements. The sun, as the ruler of Leo, was of paramount importance to the Neolithic people in the New Stone Age. And during this era, human beings, they acquired a limited ability to raise food, and so agriculture was slowly born rather than merely hunting for food or gathering for food. According to astrologers, cave paintings from this age is man's first written history, and so marks the influence of Leo. Now comes the age of Cancer, which is approximately 8,000 BC to 6,000 BC. This was an age where human beings abandoned or left their caves and they started to form fixed dwellings above the ground. This is the typical Cancer influence, namely striving for a home. Also in the age of Cancer, we have the mankind learning to spin and to weave, to make clothing, and at that time mankind also learned pottery. Growing many different crops and domesticating many animals were also highlighted in the age of Cancer. One could say that real agriculture happened or started then. Because Cancer is ruled by the moon, it is no surprise that during the age of Cancer started also moon worship and all that relates to fertility, motherhood, and the domestic life. The age of Gemini is around 6,000 BC to 4,000 BC. This age is marked by the development of writing, since Gemini is the sign of communication. Mankind's intellectual capacities, they were expanding, and humans, they began to record and to store information. Also, the invention of the wheel made rudimentary commerce and travel possible, both ruled by the sign of Gemini. The age of Taurus is around 4,000 BC to 2000 BC. The emphasis lies on the great Egyptian civilization. cultivation of land, and new technology of building, as the example in the pyramids echoes the influence of the earthy Taurus. The aesthetic nature of Taurus is reflected in the beautiful art and architecture of this age. The Age of Aries, which is around 2000 BC to 1 BC, is the era known as Iron Age, when mankind learned to make weapons from iron. So this is no surprise, since Aries is ruled by the metal iron, and the war god Mars is also ruling Aries. So this age is therefore characterized by militant and aggressive actions. During the Age of Aries, Assyria and the Greek city-states, they rose to power, and Alexander the Great conquered the world. Not to forget to mention Rome, because in the later time of this age, military Rome became the most powerful empire ever known so far. The Age of Pisces is around 1 AD to 2000 AD. And during this era, an enormous Christian influence changed the world, and the fish is not only a spiritual sign of Christianity, but also the sign for Pisces. Drawings of fish, they were used by the early Christians as a secret sign to let others know one was a Christian. Christ called his apostles the fishers of men, and this age is marked by great sacrifices and even greater struggles, both qualities associated with Pisces. So, what will the Age of Aquarius be like? For clues, we must look at a sign of Aquarius, a sign of brotherhood and humanitarianism. This era, so astrologers predicted, will leave the concept of individual nations behind, and humankind is expected to rather join together as one people instead of separated nationalities. So the Age of Aquarius may reach at least and at last a long-held and wished-for ideal of world peace. Predictions are that there will be a great emphasis on the common man, and such thing as special privilege for people of high birth or having great wealth will become no longer important. Because Aquarius is the sign of scientific knowledge and invention, it is also ruled by air waves. It is impossible to name already such mind-boggling inventions in the future, but astrologers predict incredible inventions, for instance, increasing journeys through space, to name a few. They are not only travels through our own solar system or even our own galaxy, but they are journeys through the universe beyond. There will be space arcs able to transport huge amounts of people, and we will have space colonies and interstellar travel. The achievement of travel to the stars is indeed remarkable when one considers that Pluto, which is our outermost planet, is only 5 light minutes away from us, while the nearest star, not counting our own sun, is 4.3 light years away. Aquarius is a mental sign, so it should not be surprising when the future will be marked by yet unthinkable intellectual achievements. There will be concern for the environment, the discovery of new technology to solve problems of dwindling supplies of energy and resources here on Earth. The power of atomic energy, electronics, and aviation, all Aquarian inventions, will be harnessed for the greatest possible use. And because Aquarius is also a practical sign, the purpose of knowledge is to make use of it, not just for the sake of knowing. Astrologers, they have a special place for Aquarius because it is the sign associated with astrology. We already have seen an increased interest in astrology at the dawning of the Aquarian age. As someone once remarked, astrology is the new religion of the new generation. So in the future, astrology will no longer be thought of as superstitious, arcane, or secret knowledge, but will become a respected scientific inquiry available to everyone. Of course, it will remain a wishful thinking to expect that the age of Aquarius will bring universal harmony. But Aquarius is the sign of hopes and of wishes, so everything then is possible. Astrologers, they put great hope in the age of Aquarius, since hope is the positive quality of Aquarius, a hope built on past knowledge and the discovery of new truths, since Aquarius is also called the truth seeker. However, such negative aspects as inflexibility and the pursuit of selfish desires will also be a part of this new age. Mankind has not yet evolved highly enough that one could expect a new race of totally unselfish and idealistic people. There's always the problem or the terrible danger of overpopulation here on Earth. So in this time, as a result, there will be global wars for water, food, housing, and so forth. And it is expected that this overpopulation will be reduced by diseases and by famine. Because we are using up our global resources at an alarming rate, and so stripping bare the planet of the ability to sustain life. So most terrifying is that we have also atomic power and we are able to completely destroy this Earth. Still, the age of Aquarius offers hope, and Uranus, The ruler of Aquarius is called the planet of the future, for Uranus rules modern science, invention, electricity, and humanitarian movements. Uranus is the planet of the power of will and also of unconscious purpose. So the promise can be to build a wonderful world, a new world. On the other hand, we could lose all that we have. It is up to the new universal Aquarians, in other words, all of us, to make the best of this age of Aquarius. That was my reading for this Sunday. I found it kind of interesting to share. I hope you agree. Thank you for listening. Wishing all of you a wonderful Sunday. I shall be back tomorrow with my usual Shaman Oracle readings. Sending out my love to everyone. Take care and goodbye.